It's the Daily Doug.
Hey y'all, welcome back to the Daily Doug. Thanks for being with me today. My friends, we're doing something for the first time here on the channel today. We're listening to music by the Rolling Stones. How about that? It's hard to believe, but after more than 3.5 years of Daily Doug activity and almost 850 episodes, I've never reviewed any music from the Rolling Stones. That ends today. I'm really pumped to listen to their music. If you have seen some of my video reviews on the music of Led Zeppelin, then you might understand where my current connection is with the Rolling Stones. I've heard several of their songs over the years, but I've never given any of their music a critical listen, and I know relatively little about the members of the band besides their name. And, just as I've kind of gotten to know the music and the band members of Led Zeppelin over the last few years, I'm curious and I'm excited to get on the Rolling Stones wagon here and see where it takes us. So last week, I published a poll here on YouTube asking our followers to choose the song from the Rolling Stones that I would react to first. So we put up 5 of their more popular songs to start with, including Sympathy for the Devil, Gimme Shelter, Paint It Black, Satisfaction, and Wild Horses. From this list, our YouTube audience has selected Paint It Black. So that is where I'm going to be starting my Rolling Stones journey, and I'm happy that you're with me. It's going to be fun. So this song was written by Mick Jagger and Keith Richards, and it was first released as a single in May of 1966. A few months later, the song appeared on Aftermath, which was the band's 4th studio album, but it only appeared on the US version of that album. It was left off of the United Kingdom version of the album. I think that's really interesting. And as I read in on this one, the song was a bit of a departure for the band as they strayed a bit from their rock and roll and their blues influences and included some unconventional instrumentation, including a sitar, a Hammond organ, some castanets, and other percussion instruments. In fact, the song was the very first, according to Wikipedia, to include a sitar that actually rose to number 1 on the charts, both in America and in the United Kingdom. That's really interesting as well. So let's get into it, friends. I know that I've heard this one. It sparks a memory in the past, but it's a fuzzy memory at that. So I'm eager to hear it with all of you today. We've got Mick Jagger on lead vocals. He's also one of our songwriters. Keith Richards is on the lead and acoustic guitars and backing vocals, also a songwriter. Brian Jones is on the sitar and some acoustic guitar. Bill Wyman is on the bass and the Hammond organ and handles some percussion. And Charlie Watts is on the drums and percussion. So let's get into it, y'all. Here is Paint It Black from the Rolling Stones. Off we go. There's the sitar. Woo. Over here. There's those castanets. So it's a 1 chord, 5. And it's got the real 5 chord in it. Nice. 4/5 to 1.
I see a line of cars and they are painted black.
I see a line of cars and they're all painted black.
Flowers and my love both never to come back. I see people turn their heads and quickly look away. Like a newborn baby, it just happens every day.
A real major 4 and then a major 5 to lead back to F minor.
My heart is black. I see my red door, I must have it painted black.
Cool. Then it goes to this.
It's not easy facing up when your whole world is black. super blue. I could not foresee this thing happening to you. If I look hard enough into the setting sun, my love will laugh with me before the morning comes. I see a red door and I want it painted black. No
So back to verse 1.
anymore, I want them to turn black.
And he's a little more emotional in that, I think, in the timbre of his voice than before.
I have to turn my head until my darkness goes.
There's no chorus in this. It's just this verse, where half of it is just these two chords and this motive going back and forth, and then it's the other little progression. It's all in the same key.
I wanna see a painted black.
I want to see it painted black. Black as night, black as cold.
Blotted out from the sky. I wanna see a painted black. Yeah.
I love the sitar in there. It makes it quite evocative to have those other instruments, doesn't it? And it fades out. Well, let's take a look at this song here. I think woo! I'm glad I didn't play along. I think they were in the cracks. But I do hear it in F minor. Right? It's just part of the minor scale. Do, re, mi, fa, me, re, do, ti, do, re, do, ti. And it's part of that real dominant 5 chord with the leading tone in it. Just 1 and 5. Then where did they go? And then right, major 4, la, ti, do. So you've got that. You know, that would be like that Middle Eastern sort of idea, or that Indian idea. This has that sort of feel to it, doesn't it? But it's got so, la, ti, do on the way up. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. It's like melodic minor on the way up there. Right? On the way up. Really cool. And it's a simple way to do that song. They only have those few ideas. They didn't put in a contrasting chorus or a bridge or anything else. That's the song. And it's captivating enough with all of the different instrumentation, the way that they performed it, and the way that Mick actually sang it. It really does. It does grab you, doesn't it? I really like the song. I was looking online for some explanations and background of the lyrics for this song. It's obviously a song of sadness, right? And I think it's that second verse that reveals that the content is likely the funeral of our narrator's significant other. The lyrics are, I see a line of cars and they're all painted black, with flowers and my love, both never to come back. So that's why I think it's at a funeral. And our narrator then is experiencing pretty immense grief and sadness if it's at the funeral of his significant other, right? Of his love. And I think that as a result, his heart is black, right? So he's using black as a metaphor for sadness or for grief. We use blue that way. Black is a little more desperate, I think, right? A little more down in a hole. And I think he's expressing a desire for everything around him to match what he feels in this moment. He wants to feel that the world around him understands and validates his grief, what he's feeling. It's really a powerful bit of metaphorical lyrics that I find really quite effective. And the instrumentation and the way that it sounds makes for a very classic tune. And it's not too hard musically. I'm sure that there are tons of covers of this. It's right in the middle of a register to sing, and it can be performed without too much difficulty in terms of virtuosity, right? So it really lines up with a song that can connect with people. It connects on a human, emotional level, and the sounds are really evocative, especially in this era. If you are used to hearing just regular rock and roll and the blues, with the Beatles and Rubber Soul, you're starting to hear some sitar. You're starting to hear some of these world influences come in to rock and roll and the blues, and it makes for really fascinating sounds. And all these years later, it still speaks with a sense of immediacy, with a sense of now. It's not something that happened in the past. All of this could still be applicable for us today, and I think it's why the song endures. So good job, YouTube audience. You picked a good one for me to start with. I really enjoyed this one, and I'm expecting to do quite a bit more from the Rolling Stones here in the future weeks and months. I have not ever heard any of their full albums, and the little bit that I've heard from them, I've only heard on the radio and in popular culture. So I'm excited to get on this bandwagon with the Rolling Stones finally, after all of these episodes. Thank you all for being patient with me when it comes to this band. I'm excited to get started. So this has been Paint It Black by the Rolling Stones, a really great way to start off a journey listening to and examining their music. Thanks, y'all. We'll see you next time on another edition of The Daily Doug.